Welcome back to Voice of the Founding Fathers, and I'm your host, Dr. D. Lee Piven. And we're going to talk about this being the spookiest time of the year. Yes, the time of fright, the time of horror, the time to be afraid. And no, I'm actually not talking about Halloween. I'm talking about Election Day. Right around the corner. We will find out what new House of Horrors is going to be created throughout the country. What new drama? What new comedy routine? Who will be the new players? Who will be the old players? It has become nothing but a variety television show watching politics. And unfortunately, that also seems to go along with our voting system. Because people seem to be voting based off of who is the most entertaining. I know I've mentioned this 1,000 times already, but I'm going to repeat it one last time as we come into the polls. You are not supposed to vote for the best clown. You are not supposed to vote for the best contortionist. You are not supposed to vote for the best provocateur. You're supposed to vote for the best politician for the country, the whole country, who actually cares about the running of this country. We have enough clowns, contortionists, and provocateurs to fill a stadium already. It's time to retire them. As you can see by our economy, by the gamesmanship done every day, by the nonsense on our newscasts, all we have is a bunch of clowns and jokers from both sides of the aisle. Time to sweep the house clean. And I don't mean bring in Donald Trump, the biggest clown in the biggest ring we've had in this country in a long time. And I am so tired of hearing about, oh, how wonderful it was under Trump. He was the greatest in the world. How could we have let this happen? Grow up, folks. He wasn't any great politician. He wasn't any great foreign policy person. And he definitely didn't do anything for the economy. He came in on the coattails of his predecessor, who had a great economy going, rode it out most of his way until we ran into COVID and things started going a little haywire, and then he blamed the opposition for that being haywire. That is not a great politician. It's a great showman. He definitely studied the P.T. Barnum School of Politics. You know, the one that says, you can fool some of the people all the time. You can fool all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all the time. Our problem right now is the ones he fools all the time seem to get all the talking points. And they're continuing to do that. And our country is literally going into the sewer. Literally. And I, for one, am tired of it. So, be responsible. Actually look at who's running for office. Scratch out whatever party affiliation it says next to their name in your head. Don't pay any attention. I don't care if it says Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertine, Socialist. I don't care what it says next to their name. Look at the individual. Look at their actual stands. Look at their platforms. Look at how they think they can improve our country, working with others. Because nobody's going to be a one-man show, so they have to play nice with others. You know, the thing you were supposed to learn in kindergarten, to share, play nice. Yeah. Tired of politicians that flunked out of kindergarten. It's time to find ones that know how to play nice, to get things done, to stop wasting the revenues and resources of this country playing gamesmanship. So, go through them. Read the details. I am not going to tell anyone who to vote for. Period. I may speak out against some of the ones I don't think you should vote for, but I'm not even going to do that at this moment. I want you to educate yourself on every politician on your ballot, because every ballot's different depending on where you are in the world, or in this particular case, where you are in this country. Know the politicians and ignore the propaganda. Read for the facts. And if your politician is spending most of their time talking bad about the other politician and their policies, there's a reason. And that's because your politician has no platform. Nothing. It's all smoke, mirrors, poof, it's magic. Only problem with that is magic actually only works on the stage, doesn't work in real life. And if you want to actually have a clown or a magician in your office, then you need to question your own self, because they're not there to entertain you. And they have too much power, way too much power, for us to be choosing them based on their personas instead of their essence. So, be wise. Be very cautious. And put some strict criteria that's fact-based on economy, on foreign trade, on immigration thoughts, not based off of rhetoric that you've heard in the news, not based off of garbage that's being flushed through our systems every day. Wisely choose who you want for political office. Because if it continues the way it has for the last 6 years, this country will not be the United States of America 6 to 10 years down the road. We'll be a jumble of states falling apart that looks like a third world dictatorship, whether it's a socialist dictatorship or a corporate capitalistic dictatorship. It still will be a dictatorship. And it will not be the place that this country was ever founded to be. So, time to put away the showmanship. Time to deal with facts and truth. Time to make intelligent decisions using cognitive thought processes, and stop the superficiality that has become the politics of America and the shame of our country. So think twice before you make that vote. And with that note, be sure to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification button, and hit the like button. And we look forward to seeing you again in the real near future. Have a great day. Welcome back to Voice of the Founding Fathers, and I'm your host, Dr. D. Lee Pippin. And today we're going to talk about just one topic, which has been a political hotbed all the way across, and that's climate change. Now, I know there are 3 distinct camps on climate change. The people that think it's a hoax, the people that see where there's something going on but are not sure we need to move, and then the people on the far side that are saying the sky is falling, and if we don't do something, we're all going to die. There should be a 4th group in this mix, which is the group that says there is climate change, and we do need to make adjustments, but we need to be rational about those adjustments, because we all know nothing happens in a day. You have to plan for it. You have to make allotments and goals to have these things happen. And those things were going on and have been going on around the world. But somehow, when there's a little bit of economic issue or there is something else happening in the world, we forget those promises, those conditions. So let's go on some facts. The climate has changed, and the climate is continuing to change. And people will say that's happened before. Yes, we know for a fact there have been 7 to 9 ice ages since the beginning of this world. That's eligible to be determined from the various layers as you dig through the Earth's core. We know this has happened. We also know that certain things have precipitated each ice age. Usually the buildup of hydrocarbons, the amount of carbon monoxide in the air, various factors. And we hit a reset button. And we have a few things that survived from each ice age before that help create the new big world until the next ice age happens. In that process, we are big, as similar to our politics, on finger pointing. Everybody can point at somebody that's supposedly worse than us about caretaking our planet. And I'm just going to point out one thing. I don't care if you're in America, France, Russia, Bolivia, Zimbabwe. All of it is part of one planet. And folks, we share that planet. And we, as a collective group, have a responsibility to protect and care for that planet. Now, all platitudes aside, let's just go on logic. We don't take care of the planet doesn't take care of us. And if the planet doesn't take care of us, we die. Plain and simple. Curl up, find your coffin space, settle in. Because you don't do anything, that's what's going to be happening. May not happen today, may not happen tomorrow. But do you really want to be responsible for the death of your own children or your own grandchildren because you were so selfish today? I know we're a me generation. Buy. I have to have the best of everything. I have to look the best of everything. I have to drive the best of everything. But why? Because someone told you needed all that? Someone said, oh, if you don't have all this, you're not successful. So therefore, destroy more of our planet so you can look successful? That's not the way it works, people. That's the way you put us into a new ice age. So we have to be more fruitful in our endeavors and frugal in our resources. We need to look at alternative energies. We don't need to get rid of everything we're currently doing because that would also be stupid when there's nothing to replace it. But if we use up all the resources we have, and there are only limited resources, and if you take into account that we pull those limited resources from under the ground, that leaves open spaces under that ground for things to cause cave-ins, earthquakes, other natural disasters. Or does that not fit into your normal plan? You know, I think middle school, high school science fair projects, physical sciences, they talk about these things, you know, when you take all the water out and you leave holes in the earth, create sinkholes, or you end up creating eruptions and you end up causing volcanic eruptions, or you end up causing an earthquake because of a platonic shift, because there's nothing holding things in place. You know, there's always a cause and a result. And we keep acting like we don't know what caused the results we're getting. But folks, we all know. And the amount of pollutants we're putting into the air now. Yes, there are countries worse than ours. It's not a competition to be the worst. Just keep that in mind. Nobody is competing for, I just won the prize for the worst country in the world for caretaking my world. No. The prize you're supposed to be going for is being the best country in the world for caretaking our world and leaving the least carbon footprint as possible, so the world continues to regenerate and grow and help sustain life. You know, things like air, water, you know, those things that you need every day to survive. Yeah, those minor little details. You know, you need a little bit of water to live. You need a little bit of air to live. So you need to think twice before you destroy them. Just my personal opinion. I personally like breathing, but you know, I may be a minority. What do I know? Think about it. Think about what we're doing. Yes, plastics are convenient. Plastics are a byproduct from the refining process of petroleum. But those plastics are also a problem with our garbage dumps and recycling and other situations. Glass is a great resource. I know in India, back in the day, that when you were going through with the trains, you could get a cup of tea when you were stopped at one of the stations, and the tea came in a clay type cup that people, basically, they were disposable. It was a disposable clay cup. It was not completely killed, so therefore it was not completely set. You could drink the tea without getting any of the clay in your mouth and things like that. You would have a cup or two of tea, and then tea cups would be just dropped in a bucket where they would shatter and go back to raw clay with some water added to them to be reformed, re-killed, and used again. An actual perfect recycling program. Perfect. And it worked with nature. All I'm saying is we need to find ways that are reasonable and sensible so that we're still breathing semi-clean air 20 or 30 years from now, instead of having to have oxygen masks on to step out of our house and having filters to clean the air to come into our house. Just think about it, and think about your children and your grandchildren. Think about what future you're leaving them. And with that note, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification buttons, and we'll see you again soon. Take care and have a great day.